Good morning, everybody, and welcome to MFiles Quick Tips for August 15th. We're going to be covering creating views inside of MFiles. Let's see what we have on today's agenda. We're going to be talking about some terminology. MFiles has two different types of views. I'll be going through how to create a My View. I'll show you how to copy an advanced search, which then again saves that information for later use into My View. I'll show you how to share one of your personal views as well. Okay, terminology. What's different about these views? Great question. Inside of MFiles, you have the capability, your system administrator, to create common views, as you can see by the highlighted yellow box. This checkbox is only available again to the MFiles system administrator. When they mark that box, that view then becomes available to all users on that vault. We're going to be talking about creating personal views. So let's get started. Inside of MFiles, in the upper right-hand corner, you will see a plus sign. This gives you the capability of seeing other choices. When you select it, we're going to go down to View. This opens up a new window. The first thing that we want to do here is we want to give it a very precise name, a name that you can reference back to know exactly what it is. I'm going to create one today called Pictures with Water. As you take a look below that, we have an area where we get to define the filter. This is where you put in your search parameters. Below that, you have a checkbox for what kind of objects as well as versions. Below that is grouping levels. Now, if you want to learn more about that information, with this window open, if you press the F1 key on your keyboard, that will open up your browser and bring you to MFiles Help. And because you were in a certain area, it will bring you to that specific help area. In this case, you can see the creating views. And if I scroll down here a little bit, you'll see that they go through and define all the different areas along with some additional links as well as a video talking about creating views. Let's get back to ours. Okay, so I have my information ready to go. I'm going to define my filters by clicking on the button. This brings me into an area where I have a lot of control. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go to, the area I'm going to is Properties. I'm going to click on Add a Condition or a Search Filter. Look at all the choices. Now, to save time, I can start typing. I can select by Tab or Enter. The operator, again, a lot of choices. We're going to leave it at equal. The value, again, to save time, I'll start typing, will be picture, selected with my Tab key. I want to add another filter or search parameter. To do that, I'm going to click on Add Condition again. This one is going to be keywords. Selected with the tab. Now for my operator, I want to make sure that I select something that says contains. This means that in that keyword, or I should say keywords, there could be multiple words. I'm only looking for one match in those multiple words, so contains. And I'm going to type in the word I'm looking for, and spelling does count here, and that's going to be water. I'm done with my search parameters. I click OK, review my screen, click OK. I've now created my view. And you can see the different categories, my view underneath that, and common views below that. Again, remember common views are created by your system administrator for mFiles. To check my view, I'm going to double click on it. There's my pictures with water. Let's confirm. I'm going to select Disney World. In the metadata card, we can see we have picture and we have one of our keywords is water. If I select another document, again, class is picture and one of the keywords is water. If we take a look at a preview here, we can see, yes, that picture contains water. Awesome. I'm going to go back to mFiles. Now there's something that we can do here that's actually pretty cool. What if I wanted to find out a group of photographers that took those pictures, or I wanted to group it by photographers? Oh, that's cool. How can I do that? Good question. Now to edit a view, if you need to edit, you select it, right click on it, and go to properties. This brings up our My View screen. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a grouping. So down at the very bottom of this dialog box, I'm going to go down to grouping levels. I'm going to click on add. Now I want to group by picture taken by. Remember I said photographer. So I'm going to locate picture taken by. There it is. Now the property on the metadata card happens to be exactly the same. So I'm going to do picture taken by. And I do not want to show empty folders. I only want to show the folders where the photographers are actually have pictures that match the search criteria. So I'm going to unmark this box, click OK. I'm going to apply it, and I'm going to click OK again. Now, we need to test it out. How do we do that? We double click on it. I have two photographers that have pictures that match my search criteria, of class of picture and a keyword water. When I double click on Jim Legg, he took the Disney World picture. When I select it, we can see that in the metadata card, it met the requirements. Class is picture, keyword is water. Now, if I want to back up, I can use the back arrow up here. I can click on the pictures with water here, which I will do. Let's double click on Mike Larson. He has 3 pictures that meet the search criteria. I'm going to select sunset, and we will see it meets the criteria of class picture, and one of the keywords is water. Pretty cool. I'm going to click home. We're going to talk about our next area. Taking one of your advanced searches and copying it into a view. First, we need to create an advanced search. So we're going to go up here to the right of the search icon, the 3 lines. This goes into advanced search. We're going to go a little bit deeper. We're going to go additional conditions. We're going to go to properties. Okay, so the first one I'm going to add by clicking on add condition. It's going to be class again, equals document. I'm going to add another condition by clicking the button again. This one is going to be keyword contains driving. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to search for that, and it returned accident statistics. And if I select that, we can see that it met the search criteria, class of document, and keyword driving. So now I want to copy that information into my view. Up here at the very top on the left side of mFiles, you will see search results and latest searches. When I select latest searches, it will show you all the searches you've done. If you have more than one, always your latest search will always appear at the bottom of the list. So I only have one, so it's pretty simple. I'm going to select it, right click on it, and I'm going to select copy. Now I'm going to go to the home screen, and from here, I'm going to right click and paste. Added my personal view. Now, like I talked about earlier, you want to make sure you give it a very unique name so you know what it is. So I'm going to rename this by right clicking on it, selecting rename. I'm going to call this driving data. Now I got to try it out. So I'm going to double click on it. And there it returned what I was looking for, accident statistics. Class is document, keyword is driving. Our next area to explore is once you've created a great personal view and somebody else, one of your coworkers says, boy, could you share that with me? You're probably wondering how I can do that. You can do that from mFiles by sharing it through an email. Let me show you. So I'm going to take pictures with water, select it, right click on it, and I'm going to say share view by email. This will actually open up an email message with that view link attached to it. I'm going to send this to Marco Demo 2, and I've already let the person know that this is coming. I will tell them, please. Okay, so we have that information. We're going to send it to Marco Demo 2. Let's make sure that that message got sent out. I'll just check my email, and it did. Awesome. I'm going to jump into Marco Demo 2, and the email has already arrived. Awesome. So now I'm going to open that up. So we have the message open, and I'm going to follow the instructions. Double click on the link to open and save to mFiles. So I'm going to double click on the link. It says, do you trust this? I'm going to say open. This then opens up mFiles. It takes me right into that personal view. I'm going to go home, and you'll see that the pictures with water link or personal view has been added. If I double click on it, we can see our two photographers. If I go to Mike Larson, we can see the images that Mike has. And we can preview that. Awesome. If I want to go back, just that simple. Cool. I'm going to click home. I'm going to jump back to Marco Demo 1. And let's take a look at a couple other things here. One thing I want to mention before we get into our questions is there was an update that happened just recently with mFiles, and it made a slight change, and we want to point this out to our customers. When you do a search, if I do a search for bikes here, what happens is it basically shows you everything. Notice this just says objects. The way it was by default, and to get to this view, it's called, you select your Alt key, go to View, Display Mode, and there was an option down at the bottom here. It says Group Objects by Object Types. And with this last update, it unmarked that. So if I mark that again, notice now is grouping my search information by the different object types. And that's what most people are used to seeing. Again, that was pressing your Alt key under View, Display Mode, and Group Objects by Object Type, if you saw that change. What I'd like to do right now is open it up for questions. Do we have any questions out there, Tracy and Kim?
Yeah, a few have come in, Dave. The first one I believe you addressed, and that was if you have a My View, how you share that. And so Dave did go through the demonstration with sending it out to an email address. Second question is one around deleting a view. Is that possible?
Great question. Yes, it is possible. Let me get back into MFiles here. Let's click Home. So let's say that driving data, I did not want that anymore. One click to select, and then I right click on it, and down at the very bottom, I can delete it. I get a confirmation screen, and I say yes, and the view has been deleted. Any other questions?
So with that possible to delete a My View, would that user be able to delete a common view?
Oh, good question. I have not tried that. Let's see what happens here. That is not available because if you recall, the common views are set up by the system administrator. So the system administrator controls the common views, but great question.
Wonderful. Moving on, a question in regards to quick search. So you showed how in advanced search you can copy and save into a view. Is the same said for a quick search?
Oh, another super question. I'm not 100% sure, but let's try it out. So let's go in here. So I'm going to go back to that search I had for bikes, okay? And so we got some information returned. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to my latest searches, and I could see it's appearing in the list. Remember, it's the very bottom one. I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to copy it. So things are looking good. I'm going to go back to the home screen. I'm going to right click and I'm going to paste. Here's where things change. So if you take a look at this confirmation window, basically it drops all quick search conditions. So this is basically like doing an open search window. But let's dig a little deeper. I'm going to say yes to it. It pasted it in. If I go to the properties to edit that My View, I can see when I go to define filters, there are no search parameters set up. So the answer to the question is no. You're not able to copy a quick search into a My View.
Perfect. One other question, and again, in the WebEx chat, if you want to keep them coming, a lot of good content here this morning. The question is around columns and views. We have a user who's added columns to present data. So in addition to grouping here, they added the column of keywords. In this example, Dave, are they able to export the data out of MFiles, not necessarily the document, but the column pertinent information?
That is a very good question. I'm not 100% sure on the answer for that. Do you have some insight to that, Tracy?
Yeah, so absolutely on if you were to add a column, so we'll go through the steps here. Let's go and add keywords. Check under standard columns. They may have placed
Standard.
underneath.
Uh, Whoop. There we go.
And nothing
And
there. What other metadata? Let's add the class metadata.
okay, we'll do, I must be looking right at it. There it is. Okay. Oh, we added a blank one. Okay, so let's get one more. As assignments, keywords. There it is.
Perfect. So if you move to the right, you will see you do have keywords in the scroll. It's just trimmed off here, I believe.
There it is. Yep.
Okay, so once you have your relevant columns within this view, again, going through the Alt menu item, if you can click Alt on your keyboard, and you go to File, and you go to Export. You have the option here to unselect what the default settings are, which is, let's go and uncheck export IDs and export files, because all we really want are the visible columns. So let's check that top box, click OK. And you can see at this point, you can navigate out. And in this example, let's probably just go to your desktop and or documents. So if you have a view that is very appropriate for data that is being fashioned up, maybe an approval workflow, maybe some invoice dollar amounts and dates and statuses like that, you can use your views to export the metadata that you've added as a column within the view.
Great. Are there any other questions out there?
There is. There's a question in regards to, can you hide views? So a common view, again, being able to set up by the administrator, is there an option for that administrator to set permissions where it won't necessarily be global across the organization?
Great question. What I'm showing on the screen right now is each individual has the capability of hiding a view. The system administrator, when they create the common views, they do go to everybody, but the actual user has the capability of hiding a view.
Perfect. That is all the questions that I see at this point, Dave.
Awesome. I do want to share with you folks that there are some resources available, and one that I want to talk about is the resource that you have here at Marco. Marco, from our Marco website under Enterprise Contact mFile Solution, we have some links available for you to use, like our e-learning portal, webinars, and other information that's available for you to help you in your day-to-day use of mFiles. Let's get back into our closing here. Let's jump down to that. There we go. Okay, so we've taken care of the questions. The other thing that I want to leave you with is that coming up in September 19th will be our next quick tip, and that is going to be covering pins inside of mFiles. If you scan the QR code, it will take you to a website, Marco's website, with the upcoming mFiles quick tips, so you can register for the upcoming events. Please make sure that you share this information with your colleagues if they have questions regarding mFiles. Just double checking, are there any other last minute questions?
There are not.
Awesome. Well, I would like to thank everybody for attending today. The link for that mFiles website for Marco is in the chat window if you want to copy that and use that as a reference. Again, I'd like to thank everybody for attending today, Have a great day.